From the ashes of war rose a man who mastered the art of killing, only to discover that true victory lay in mastering himself. He was a warrior, philosopher, and artist. A man who fought 60 duels and never lost a single one. His name became legend, whispered with awe. Miyamoto Musashi, the lone samurai who turned combat into philosophy. But before he became the symbol of the perfect swordsman, he was just a boy, born into chaos, in a Japan tearing itself apart. In the late 1500s, Japan was a land of endless conflict. Warlords battled for power, samurai swore shifting loyalties, and entire provinces burned in the name of ambition. It was the final act of the Sengoku period, the age of warring states. In a small village in Harima Province, around the year 1584, Takezo Shinmin was born. He would later take the name Miyamoto Musashi, after the land of his ancestors. His father, Shinmin Munisai, was a samurai and a master of swordsmanship and jut, a weapon used to disarm blades. From his father, Musashi learned the first lessons of combat: balance, timing, and control. But the household was harsh, ruled by discipline and pride. Some accounts say Musashi's mother died when he was young. Others suggest she left. Either way, the boy grew up with absence as his only comfort and discipline as his only language. He was only 7 when his father began training him with wooden swords, beating technique into instinct. But the boy's spirit was wild. He resisted structure, favoring intuition over formality, a pattern that would define his entire life. When Musashi was about 13, he fought his first duel. The challenger was Arima Kihei, a seasoned samurai who had come through Musashi's village boasting of his skill. The young boy accepted the challenge without hesitation. Armed only with a wooden sword, he faced the man before the village elders. The fight was short and brutal. Musashi attacked with ferocity, without elegance, striking until Kihei lay bleeding on the ground. It was a shocking victory, and a defining one. The boy had killed his first opponent, and in doing so, crossed the invisible line between training and reality. He had tasted what it meant to survive, but survival came at a price. The young Musashi was branded a wild soul, a man destined for violence. At 15, he left home and began wandering. The country was still reeling from civil war, and samurai, without masters ronin, roamed the land, selling their swords to the highest bidder. Musashi became one of them. He slept in forests, lived on rice and rainwater, and honed his skills not in schools, but in duels. He studied his opponents the way others studied books, learning from each encounter, each mistake. By his early 20s, his reputation had begun to spread. People whispered of a ragged swordsman who fought with both hands, whose style was unpredictable, who cared nothing for rank or reward. In 1600, destiny placed him at the crossroads of Japan's greatest battle, Sekigahara. This was the conflict that would unify Japan under Tokugawa Ieyasu, ending centuries of chaos. Musashi fought on the losing side, under the Toyotomi loyalists. When the dust settled and the victors claimed the nation, the Ronin found himself an outlaw once more. Most men would have sought forgiveness or patronage. Musashi did not. Instead, he disappeared into the countryside, dedicating himself to what he called the way of strategy, not merely swordsmanship, but understanding combat as a reflection of life itself. Over the next decade, Musashi wandered from province to province, challenging the best schools and warriors he could find. He was not cruel nor boastful. He sought not fame, but refinement. Each duel was an experiment, a lesson. In 1604, he fought the Yoshioka clan in Kyoto, one of Japan's most respected schools of swordsmanship. The Yoshioka were proud and powerful, and the idea of a ragged ronin challenging them was an insult. Musashi defeated the master in a single stroke. When the clan sent his younger brother, Musashi defeated him too. In desperation, the Yoshioka arranged an ambush, 60 men against 1. Musashi came early to the duel, striking before his enemies could prepare. He cut through them and vanished into the forest, his legend sealed. After Kyoto, no one doubted his name. But for Musashi, victory was not the goal, understanding was. He developed a new technique, Nita Nishiriya. The school of 2 heavens is 1. It was revolutionary, using 2 swords simultaneously, one long and one short. It wasn't about speed or strength, it was about rhythm. Musashi believed that by mastering both hands, a swordsman could control the flow of any battle, adapting to the opponent's intent rather than reacting to it. By now, he was a legend in motion, undefeated in 60 duels, some against entire schools. Yet as his fame grew, so did his solitude. Musashi refused wealth and titles. He lived simply, sleeping in caves or abandoned temples, sketching, carving wooden swords, meditating for hours on end. It was during this wandering life that he met Sasaki Kojiro, a rival who matched his legend. Kojiro was famed for his elegant technique, the swallow cut, and carried a nodachi, a blade nearly as tall as a man. The two agreed to duel on a small island called Gonrujima. It was dawn, April 13th, 1612. Kojiro waited, furious, as Musashi arrived late, rowing himself across the water. His weapon was not steel, but a wooden sword he had carved from an oar. The crowd of samurai held their breath. Kojiro struck first, swift as wind. Musashi sidestepped and countered with a single blow to the head. Kojiro fell. The fight was over in seconds. That duel would become one of the most famous in history. Some say Musashi arrived late to unsettle his opponent. Others say it was to read the tide and sun's angle, ensuring light favored his eyes. Whatever the truth, it was a victory of the mind as much as the sword. After the duel, Musashi put aside killing. He had nothing left to prove. Instead, he sought to refine his philosophy, the way that bound all things. He entered the service of the Hosokawa clan, but refused courtly life. He lived humbly, mentoring young samurai, not just in combat, but in thought. He studied calligraphy, sculpture, painting, and Zen. His brush strokes were as disciplined as his strikes controlled, minimal, alive. For Musashi, the sword was only a tool to understand oneself. He wrote, "The ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them." In 1643, old and weary, Musashi withdrew into a cave near Kumamoto called Rigando, the cave of the spirit's crag. There, with failing health and quiet mind, he began writing his final work, the Book of Five Rings, Go Rin no Sho, in 5 sections: earth, water, fire, wind, and void. He described not just swordsmanship, but a philosophy of existence. He wrote that a warrior must be adaptable like water, firm like earth, direct like fire, perceptive like wind, and aware of the void, the unseen. His words transcended combat. They were about balance, observation, and truth. He wrote, "If you know the way broadly, you will see it in all things." When he finished the book, he gave it to his student and prepared for death. Musashi died in 1645, seated in meditation, his sword by his side. He was around 61. He left behind no fortune, no title, no monument, only a philosophy that still echoes across centuries. Even today, the Book of Five Rings is studied by martial artists, generals, and business leaders alike. It is a manual of clarity, a reminder that every battle, whether of sword or spirit, is won through discipline, observation, and calm. Musashi's life remains a paradox, a man who achieved perfection through violence but found peace through understanding. He lived without master, without family, without fear. He faced warlords, ambushes, and mortality itself, and emerged undefeated. Not because he conquered others, but because he conquered himself. When modern Japan looks back at its past, Musashi stands apart, not as a myth, but as proof of what focus and solitude can forge. His name is carved not into monuments, but into the silence between strikes, the pause before decision, the stillness of a disciplined mind. And perhaps that is his truest victory. For Miyamoto Musashi did not chase glory, he became it.